Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 2nd of November. Excuse me. Monday, day before the election. And we got an interesting market coming out here today. And of course, polls have been tightening. They still say that Donald Trump doesn't stand a chance. But I'm still very skeptical about how, I'm just having all sorts of indigestion. I'm a little skeptical about how accurate any polling can be given the uncertainty of turnout and everything else. I really feel like that the data science is being misapplied in this instance, and Nate Silver is full of shit. But it does look like Donald Trump is going to lose at the moment. But not really too much of a reaction to it here in the markets. I don't think that's what's going on. But we are getting some interesting action. So here is the E-mini, and you can see on Friday, they had a pretty good decline. They recovered it, but they had a really hard decline. And then in the overnight session, kind of more towards the London session, they bought it up. Now, London is going into lockdown. So why is it London's going into lockdown, but they might also get a Brexit deal? So that means, I don't know. But the thing is when we come back, well, let's see if I can show you guys here. It's probably not going to show far enough back. No, it's not. So I'll just note here that the E-mini futures are well above the people's positions. Okay, they bought it up hard. Anyways, coming back to the volume profiles, we are in a spot. They did turn out a spot with a lot of volume. Treasuries also reversing after having pushed a little bit lower here. I mean, the move down in treasuries was quite extreme on Friday. Oil also completely tumbling and falling apart overnight, and now having recovered. Gold hasn't moved that much. Copper taking a huge jump overnight. Well, I don't know what's with that. Why would copper take a jump like that, but not gold? There must be maybe there's something else going on out there. Anyways, I'm seeing a lot of bizarre moves, but that's kind of what we have to expect on a day like this, right? So, I don't know. I'm going to be watching. I'm not sure if I really want to take a whole lot of trades today with it being a Monday and the action being so odd. It looks to me like that the market went full on short Wednesday, Thursday in the E-mini, and that they have once again overextended too quickly already. It's like everybody has the derivatives, they're all putting puts on, and it goes way too quickly. And then they have to unwind it. And so this might be, what we saw on Friday might be the unwinding. So I'm going to be watching much more the level 2 and the 10-year today. Because I have a couple of theories about the way that the level 2 works. And in particular, I'm wondering if the liquidity that is placed has more to do with inventory than anything else. So here right now, I don't think that they have a whole lot of inventory on, and it looks to me like they're much more willing to put orders in at the bid and ask, which would be in line with my theory. The more inventory they have, I think that the less willing they're going to be to stack some liquidity right in front of it. And they're going to want a bigger, the more they're down, the more they're going to want a bigger spread. But they have a lot of inventory. Like let's say that they have a lot long, and right now it looks like it's fairly equal. But let's just say that they have a lot long already. I don't think that they're gonna want to add, have more long. So I think that they're going to be hesitant to bid at 10.5. That doesn't appear to be the case at the moment, though. Now, let's see here. We should check Bitcoin, by the way. Bitcoin. Oh, you know what? We need to roll over now. Roll over. Okay. So another push towards 1400 and then pulling back again. I need to run my chart here. Let's see. What does it say? I'll let you guys see it today. Okay, so 4K being absorbed at 10.5. $15,825 as of yesterday. It's pretty extreme. Well, I'd be careful because I'm thinking that Bitcoin is going to peak in November. Excuse me. Well, I don't have the text-to-speech on, so let's start that up. Oh, by the way, I haven't looked at my eye today. What does my eye look like? It's getting better. It's getting there. Still a big blob down in here. And the eye is all red, but it's getting better. Okay, so they hit into 10.5, they hit into 10, and now okay. And there's a big one at 09. So I just want to see like how much they hit into it with it. Okay, 728. He pulled. Do you see that the number of long positions they picked up increased? Let's check out Twitter here. Bitcoin, did it stop working in all markets? What? Bitcoin surged on those PayPal news 2 weeks ago, but has since then been forming some sort of consolidation on recent highs. During the latter part of this last move, it felt like people started to believe Bitcoin was great for risk off as well as risk on markets. This obviously stopped today. There is a big positive trend channel in Bitcoin going back to the March lows, still very much intact, but note the reversal right in the upper part of the channel. Yeah. I just feel really. I don't know. I have some thoughts. I do have some thoughts. I don't know if I really want to. Why I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, I know why. I'll be right back. Donald Trump chance of winning is in single digits in the 538 model for the first time.
Winston's mom says good morning, speculator Seth. How was your weekend? Hello, day traders, did everyone rest and relax enough to get ready for tomorrow?
Well, I think I relaxed too much, man. Was not really anything going on this past weekend. From the Washington Post, scam getting mighty nervous about Pennsylvania. They should be. Anyways, today is daylight save. I mean, first trading day after daylight savings time too. That's always a bummer, right? Daylight savings just sucks. It just sucks. Okay, oil surges on report Russia proposes delay of OPEC plus output hike. So that's why oil come back. Not sure if that's why the E-mini's up so high. Okay, so they took it there at 10. That time there was a lot more orders sitting there. Now, that one may have just been the market maker wanting to reduce his inventory. Hmm. 108,000 ballot difference in Florida now favoring Dems. So this guy is mathing it out and saying that it will likely be 2-1 in favor of Republicans going to the ballot box, so expect Trump to win Florida by 2.5 points. We shall see. 30-year ticks up there. Decent number of orders. Okay. Now that was interesting. I think I want to bail here, yeah. I'm going to do this. So I think that my spread can be a little more. Market Watch says it's too early to bottom fish the markets. What does that mean? Well, what they're talking about is you get into the situation where you've got momentum moving down, right? And everybody wants, a lot of people will say, well, that's wrong. So they'll try buying it and then they'll get run over and it'll push it lower again. And you just keep getting buried over and over again. So they call that knife catching or bottom fishing because you're trying to pick the bottom and failing. Is it too early to bottom fish? Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's too early to say what anything is, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, it looks to me like the market positioning has been too hard short. And that you're getting some really aggressive, nasty short covering. I was buying long all Sunday long on demo once they saved oil in the 70s. Really? Xi in Washington should stop bullying Chinese reporters in the U.S. Otherwise, it will be tantamount to making trouble for U.S. journalists in China. The state Chinese and U.S. reporters is like a pair of entangling particles. What happens in the U.S. will be bound to happen here. Sounds like a veiled threat. We've been mean to the Chinese reporters. Okay. So now it's fairly solid bid. It's practicing old Rhythmic Trader Pro platform. Dom shows more data there. Really? You're talking about, well, let's pull it up. I've got it over here. Which one is it, though? Order book? ZN? add. Oh, okay, I did add it. Da 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 da. You talking about this? Yeah, I like the way their volume profile looks. That's kind of nice, I guess. That's weird. Can you change things about this? Add or remove columns. What is bid count? And ask count. Oh, is it showing me the MBO? What's SL? Don't know what that is. So, question: how in line are they? They look pretty close. It's hard for me to see because I have to move my eyes, but it looks pretty close. I have to say, going through the rhythmic bridge, I think is a bit nicer than going through the Ninja Trader bridge. If only because if Ninja Trader crashes, it won't affect my execution. Unfortunately, with the way that I have it, I cannot use the regular license with Ninja Trader. So, like, I have a license, but it doesn't allow me to connect to Rhythmic with, a broker other than Ninja Trader. So I'm like, well, crap. I just have to use my old demo that still allows it. It's pretty lame, right? I feel like writing a Facebook post for my friends and family. They're going to be waking up. Well, those bids came in pretty quickly, didn't they? So I think what happened to us was we saw a switch. I think that having an order out there made sense. The scenario that I thought was happening didn't, and we got out with only a one tick loss, and I think it's fine for the trade. And it wasn't the one ticker that I've been planning. But I think that what happened was that the market maker flipped there. So now all of a sudden the bids are really solid, right? Okay, so there's 12 and a bit of that bid iceberg again there. So I wonder what's with that, because that kind of makes me think, well, does it? It kind of makes me think that they must know something, but then I'm sitting here like, no, that might not actually mean that at all. Government support will account for 40% of total farm income this year. Wow, over the whole year? No, no, I feel like that around 3,300 in the E-mini is fair, and I think that the push back up was a little bit extreme, but that it's settling back at a previous balance area because they overextended too low. Marco Rubio on the Trump caravan that surrounded Biden's bus in Texas. We love what they did. But here's the thing they don't know. We do that in Florida every day. Oh, this story is like really crazy to me. Like so there was an instance in Texas where Donald Trump supporters saw the Biden Harris campaign bus, and so they all got their trucks decked out in Trump paraphernalia and followed the bus around. And I guess kind of like crowded the bus, and they were saying that they were trying to run him off the road, which from the videos I saw that's not what it looked like was happening. But it's just, and the media's was flipping out about it last night. The Democrats were, oh, this is fascism. I'm sitting here like, okay, like they're literally murdering Donald Trump supporters in the street. Okay. Like we've had 3 instances of people that were literally murdered because they were Donald Trump supporters. And Democrats are freaking out about, a freaking bus being followed around by cars. Come on. Okay, so the 30-year went a little much there. What? I believe you. Yeah, and then you go to all of the Biden rallies. There's more Donald Trump supporters at them than Biden supporters. It's pretty funny. There is definitely here's the thing that's going to be funny is the Donald Trump supporters are going to go to the polls first thing, right? I know I always go first thing in the morning, and as soon as they open up, so our stream will be short that day tomorrow. Okay, we'll do a really really short stream, and then we'll pick the stream back up at 7:00 Eastern time. And anyways, we're going to go first, and what you're going to see is there's going to be all of these reports about how many people are at the polls, and they're all Donald Trump supporters. So I'm wondering if it will suppress. If that makes sense. If it will suppress the Biden supporters from coming out on election day because they're not very engaged, anyways. Possibility. Okay, so that little move in the E-mini is a little bit more than you would expect. I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm gonna try it right here. Hmm. So I could add there. I don't want to add because it's still early and it doesn't seem like it's really really moving, but so far that was encouraging even though the volume is down on me. Let me rephrase that. I think that it may be appropriate to add, but not quite yet. Yeah. It's pretty heavy in the E-mini there though. Okay. think that this right here at 9.95 was probably profit taking. See, I like that. I would like the volume to be more equal, but I like that so much. Okay, and they did do it over here in the treasury. So this should come. This is still not the trade. It's going to move it. In fact, yeah. Okay. How's the eye? I think it's doing okay. We looked at it a little earlier. Yeah, it's a little red, but it looks like it's clearing up a lot now. There's not a whole lot on the upside. There's just a little blob back down there in the corner still. Okay. Good enough for me. So this move down in the treasuries, I think, should be interesting because I think that we can move down to 10.5, but I don't think that it will just pull. So there's a good tick, but you can see that they're absorbing at 12. So I don't think that the buyers have a lot of long inventory on. So I think that they're not going to be shy about picking a few up. Okay, well, that price went really easily. Now, I might be able to get 09. It depends on how much of a turn this really is. Mm. So over here in the E-mini, I'm just going to take the quick profit. Since I am seeing some activity, I am seeing some clicking in activity over here indicating that some large traders are getting involved. And I'm kind of trying to avoid them. Looks like I'm probably a little late on the draw. Okay, and that 11.5 did go bid again. could probably cancel this because if they do come up again, I think that they're likely to just bust through and move into another higher range. But I want the target, so I don't want to turn this from what was a scalp into a swing trade. I don't think that would make sense. So bid weak, but not just giving. Okay, cool. Happy with that one. Okay. Okay, well, 11.5 looks fairly balanced. So I'm going to put an eye there. I'm watching this 11. I think that those want fills. That's the thing. It's probably those want fills at 11. I don't think that's just going to pull away. But I do think that they're going to have to hit into it. Now, oil filling the gap, that's interesting. But I think that that's because Russia's talking about not about pushing back the output increases. So okay, so we can see here in the 5-year that these bids, and this one over here in the 30-year, look pretty solid. Okay. So I decided to move my stop down and they hit into it and I got out on the limit. You're going to do stupid demo trades now? Well, they're kind of acting like they think that they're going to turn back down again. The treasuries certainly seem to be suggesting it. Okay, that offer at 21.5 not pulling away in the 5-year. I just feel so sleepy. Oh my gosh. Daylight savings time is so awful, guys. I need to talk more. That's what I need to do. Rant about the election or something. I don't really feel like there's 13 to tick up at 12 half. But some are taking it. I don't know if there's anything left to say about it, you know? Like I find it curious that there's not really a lot of news. Like this last week, it's been kind of quiet. I've actually been having a hard time finding interesting content to read. Yesterday, I was reading books. It's hard for me to read a book, man. I read like a chapter and I was like, okay, that was good. And yeah, it's like everybody just wants to get it over with and see what happens. Financial Times, preventing another crisis like the Hinyang trading collapse is vital if Singapore wants to remain one of the world's top commodity trading hubs. Ugh, why is Forex Live tweeting that? Forex Live, Trump plans to declare victory if he's ahead on Tuesday night. And the Trump campaign came out and denied that one. But that was like yesterday. La's posting some Korean to me. But I don't know what that says. I recognize some of the characters. I haven't looked at that in like a month. I probably should pull out those charts again and memorize the Korean characters, what they mean. Okay, well, all of the treasuries except for the 10-year have touched the line on the upside. Let's see. Do you think that the Texas speech reader will read it?
Bliss says 안녕하세요.
Ah, very good, very good. Okay, so there goes the E-mini, another little step higher after pulling back. For this one, I think in the 10-year, if I wanted to get in, I think I would be sitting waiting at 12 half. I don't think that they're going to hit it, though. Everything you've said is coming true. That's bullshit. You said that there wouldn't be a second or third debate, and there was a third debate. Though the second one did get canceled. And I don't think that one counts because Donald Trump got sick. Okay, so they did fill you at 12 half. 2180. That 13 is looking solid, as is the 12 half bid. But yeah, the 5-year is not. 5 years still trickling orders back and forth at 21 half. He says, okay, what number did I just write down? Did you really just write? I don't think that Ace actually wrote a number down. You know how I know that? Because I'm psychic. Okay, they take it at 13. a little bit of what appears to be profit-taking absorption there. It still looks to me like the longs are just all taking profits. I don't know why it's moving up. It looks like maybe it's just correlations. I did. I'm doing my weekly calendar. I'll send you a pic on your phone. Oh, okay. They're gonna clear 13. You know what? I'm still kind of feeling the short, and we could probably do that. You feel sleepy? Am I making you guys sleepy today? I'm just not 100% there, man. Like the thing that's so funny is that I went to bed at 9:30 like I always do, except for that it's really 10:30. And but I was hard. I was like falling asleep before that, watching StarCraft, watching Flash lose. Was a good series, but the beginning of the series was more interesting than the end of the series. But I digress. You don't care about that. I go to get in bed. I fall asleep really quickly. Sleep hard through the night. I woke up a little earlier, an hour earlier than normal, but I just, went to the bathroom and went back to sleep. And, I should be feeling pretty good, but I just don't. No, that wasn't the number. The 1 hour, but it doesn't work like that. Basically, it's like you slept in. I do kind of wonder if we're trading off of some sketchy flows here right now. Like the whole everything is always going to go up forever because of government debt, Let's see here. Did I get it? Oh, I did get it. Oh my god! Let me see if I can show that to you. Do you see that? You know what that says right there? It was a number, and then it says "Eat shit, Sunday driver." The number was 296.85. Zero hedge tweeting. Okay, so here's a good example of what we're talking about at the very beginning. When you look at the battleground states, right, you can see that Donald Trump is gaining pretty fast and Biden is losing. So Donald Trump has all the momentum. Actually, this one I should be waiting for the trade, huh? Anyways, I think they were getting another thing where the polls might be lagged. Donald Trump has all of the momentum, but where that actually puts him, it's unclear. That gulf looks huge, but it's like within the margin of error. If Trump wins, it will require an act of God. Well, I find it interesting. So I think Pennsylvania is probably the best example. It really looks like that Donald Trump stands a pretty good chance at winning Pennsylvania. And if Donald Trump wins Pennsylvania and and he wins Florida, which it appears that he will win Florida, but though I'm not too sure. There's some things on the Democrat side that make it look like that they're going to win Florida. But if Donald Trump wins both of those, then the probabilities suddenly flip, and all of a sudden it's a 50-50 chance that Donald Trump will win. So this is where I have such a big problem with Nate Silver's forecast, because it's based too much on a state by state case. So what he's doing is he's going through and he's saying, here are the chances that he wins this state, here are the chances that he wins this state, and based on those chances, here are the chances that you will win these other, So I think that it exaggerates the balance going into the election. I think that if it was the other way around, that it would give Donald Trump like a 98% chance of winning. And I don't think that the probability is actually that strong. And so he's running this risk, Nate Silver, running this risk of basically always looking like an idiot. Because when he's wrong, and there's a good chance that the model will be wrong, when he is wrong, he looks really dumb. And when he's right, he's just going to look like anybody could have said that. You get what I mean? There's too much confidence in the model, essentially. Okay, 13.5 stacking up there. Aha, that's what I thought. Well, I didn't get too good of a spot in line from that. U.S. equities point to big gains at the open. If we were higher, like if we were up at 32.20, I'd be like, they're going to sell this as too high. But because they're at 3,300, I'm just like, well, looks like that's reasonable, right? You know what I mean? Morgan Stanley says U.S. Treasury sell-off the biggest risk to its emerging market bet, says Bloomberg. Cash traders are reinstating the opinion that the sell in May seasonality of the market is ending, and therefore there is some short covering going on. Secondarily, there is growing belief that an orderly transfer of power is more likely. I think he's probably right. So, as I was saying in my video about the election, if the election night is not close, just that alone could cause markets to rally. Yeah, we're getting close to the open here. The book in the 10-year is still incredibly they're looking like they're willing to pick it up both ways. 13 pulling. Okay, so that's what I wanted. Market manufacturing PMI for Canada is 55.5. Everyone on November 1st. I thought you weren't supposed to put the Christmas decorations up until after Thanksgiving. Like you can put the lights on the house, but you're not allowed to actually turn them on or put the tree up until after Thanksgiving, guys. Come on. Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen it. Okay. Good. And the first impulse so far in the E-mini, the volume is actually pretty tight, but they made a decent long there breakout. See if they can keep that up. Oh, I got so lucky with that trade because it would maybe be. Let's see if they take 14 here in the 10-year. I actually want to buy this. So there was a lot of sell volume that came in there on that, but they were like way over pushed. So I was like, okay. Just leave one out there just in case. I'm not particularly enthusiastic about how it's trading here at the open again. Okay. In fact, I actually need to cancel that. Manage. Okay. Okay, I took it off. I actually think that they could bust up through there, but then I was realizing, I was like, no, Seth, you're not trying to swing it today. Oh, look, I'm so happy I did that. I feel like that my entries today have been really good, but I also think that my exits have been really effing lucky. That would have come back and hit my managed stop. But even though it might go higher. Volume short. Yeah. See, that was a smart one. I don't think that I was completely thinking that one out, because I saw the overextension, so I said, okay, I can get long here, but I was very intentionally thinking about it like, okay, but this is a scalp, so I it did have enough momentum for me to extend it, but then when it died out, I got out. Now I'm looking at it again, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but here's all the things that are against that swing. If we're still in that swing, um, the volume overall cumulative delta since the open is down, and the positioning from the overnight session is very overextended high. So there's a good probability of a retracement back to the 3290 or even the 3285 area. Bloomberg tweets, havens aren't working, so costly stock hedges may be the only way to go. Well, this is a very good observation. Treasuries, last week when we were going down, at least treasuries were not moving up. My leg is bouncing like crazy now, even though I still feel a little. Joe, hey, I see you have more than 10 levels of market depth. Is this with Rhythmic? Would you recommend I use standard CQG with NinjaTrader? Yeah, so I mean, it kind of depends on what you're doing. Here's the thing. In the E-mini, the standard 10 levels of market depth is just not enough, right? I feel like to really know what's going on and to look out for large orders and stuff, you need more than 10 levels, right? But the other issue is that for a proprietary trader, the actual depth of market in the E-mini moves so quickly that I find it very, very difficult to really pull too much out of it. You know what I mean? So I think it's really up to you. You can get rhythmic data through NinjaTrader brokerage, is my understanding. And if you want the extra levels of market depth, then yes, get rhythmic. If you are using like market internals and those extra indexes and stuff like that, then you're going to want to stick with CQG, right? So that is a big difference from what I can see. And do you really need to have the extra levels of market depth? Are they like essential to trading the E-mini? Well, I haven't found that to be the case. But I went over to CQG and tried the market internals, and ultimately I didn't find too much use for the market internals, so I went back to getting the more levels of market depth. So there's my son banging on the door. Hi. Hello. I wonder where this quote is from. As the trend continued, I would buy more. Buying based purely on the stock's behavior enabled me to profit without knowing anything about it. I was an insider without actually being one. I could not hear what people said, but I could see what they did. Yes, but how well does that work when everybody's doing that? That's the problem. That's the problem that I have. I would rather just be the informed trader. You know what I'm saying? So I read a lot of stuff this weekend. Because I've been doing a little bit better now that I've spent some more time in the scholarly literature. I know a little bit more about the terms that you want to search for and stuff like that. So I've been searching a lot about market microstructure and trading. And I found a lot of interesting papers. So I found this one paper that they're using different mathematical models, and I would really like to try and figure out how to incorporate it into our model. But I don't know how to do it because the math that they're talking about is like, oh my gosh, like when they write it out, it's like I think I understand all of these symbols, but I don't understand what they're saying. It's confusing, and there's like parts that are like assumed that are left out. So I'm sitting here like I'm gonna need like a math major. So if you're a math major, if you're a math PhD, hit me up. we'll figure this thing out. You know what I mean? But they're talking about market making, and when you get into that level, it very much turns into there is the market makers and there is the informed traders, and the market maker doesn't want to trade against the informed trader, but they do want to have inventory and make markets. So there's all of this stuff for the market maker to try and figure out, okay, where should I put my bid and my ask based on what's going on? They're like literally optimizing a math problem to determine what the bid and ask that they should put out to maximize their profit as a market maker, one. And then two, looking for any kind of indication that the trading that is happening is informed, and therefore I don't want to trade against it. So I think that everybody wants to be, or at least with the way that we're trading with level 2 and things like that, that kind of puts us in the market maker camp, right? But do we approach it that way? No way. I don't think that most of us are even, I'm only just barely starting to grasp how that works. And most retail traders absolutely clueless about trading it that way. So then that kind of puts me back into okay, but you can read news and you can understand how certain things should affect the market, and you can be the informed trader. And then you're trading against the robots, really. Show Bob just found your YouTube channel. Are you also on Twitch? No. I used to stream it on, I used to restream it on Twitch, but I just found that it didn't really accomplish anything doing that. It's kind of interesting because here's a question. If I'm just starting out, if I'm a streamer and I'm just starting out, where should I stream? And what is the incentive for me to stream on Twitch? It seems like that monetizing your stream is a little bit easier on Twitch. I'm not sure if that's really a huge factor for me. You know what I mean? But when I make my long form videos, then, that makes a big difference. You would have a YouTube channel anyways. So then at that point, why not just stream it there too? Because they can synergize. So there was that factor. But then the real factor was that, when I did get organic views from Twitch, like somebody just saw me listed on Twitch and came and checked me out, they weren't really the kind of person that we were looking for to have, So we kind of just stuck to YouTube because that's how people were finding us. Okay, so they're pushing down again now they're into that 90 area. Anyways, I'm glad that you found my YouTube channel. Have lots of good stuff, I hope. Lots more stuff coming. I think I'm going to focus on the programming videos for now. I'm trying to get ones, there's supposed to be two parts to them. One is that it's supposed to show you a strategy that is popular and doesn't work. And then two, it's supposed to show you a strategy that it might not necessarily be something that you could purely trade off of, but at least gives you a little bit of edge to know. And then third, showing you something new in programming a strategy, some new little piece of code that you can incorporate. Okay, so there was some more Canadian news there. We do have ISMs at the top of the hour. So 15 minutes from now. We did touch our downside target 3290. 3285 is also possible. Not too sure here. So watching it though, like they're still plowing through areas, so I don't know how I feel about that. Now the treasury flipped around. I'm kind of wondering, I should have taken it short at 14 again. Suppose if I see the right thing, I could try taking it short of 14 again, but I think I'm probably a little bit late on that one. Reorder to ensure a Biden victory. Would you punch your mom in the face? Voter, yes, I would. I love my mom, but I would do it. That's so freaking weird. Why would you even ask people a question like that? Oil rallies. No, I think that the was profit taking, and the fundamentals are still long in oil. It's going to be hard to predict where it's going to turn there up in oil. Huh? China poised to ban Australian lobster, copper, and sugar amid spiraling trade dispute. And copper. Is that why the price of copper went up? That's a piece of news that's been lurking that I think is more important than we might realize. I'm going to post that in the metals. Tesla is up 13 points to 402. Well, around 400 is still, Okay, what was that? Well, woulda, coulda, shoulda at 14, huh? I could try that. I don't think that it would be crazy to try catching it for it to run at 13, but it's a different kind of a trade. Does look like the E-mini is flipping back bullish again. Oops. Okay. Interesting. So I'm a little concerned that if they hit into 13.5, that they'll take up through it. So there's some aggressive flow both ways at 13. So I'm not sure that I want to mess with that one now. The ruble is crashing. My. Yes, it is. Oh, it's down, down, down. The dollar is looking fairly strong at the moment, by the way. They're back above 94, 94.06. Twitter will apply a warning label to tweets by U.S. political candidates, campaigns, and other highly visible accounts that attempt to claim victory before official results have been declared. How much you want to bet that that won't be fairly enforced? Because, there's so, if they're saying official results, so if a media company says, this state is declared for Biden, and that's not official, then, but I'm sure that they'll still allow it. CNN says Wall Street wants Biden to win. Well, Wall Street is always seems to favor Democrats, that's for sure. Okay, so you're getting some pretty bullish action there in the E-mini now. Not too sure about where it stops, but hmm. Okay. Pretty okay uptick at 13. 5-year fighting at 21 3/4. Look for the media to try and declare Biden the early winner. Well, I don't know if it'll really be as big of an issue for Biden. Like here's the thing. If you get done with the voting and on election night Biden is ahead, it's you can make that call because Biden voters are much more likely to vote early and they'll be able to count those. Except for in like those states where they're not allowed to count them until election night. Like I think Florida and Pennsylvania are like that. Anyways, there's going to be a couple of contests where if Joe Biden is the winner, you can call it early, and if Donald Trump is the winner, you can't. So it's really much more an issue with Donald Trump, where Donald Trump's going to say, I'm ahead, even though most of the votes haven't been counted. One day left till cats and dogs make love post election. Okay. Okay, so there a decent amount are willing to take it short at 13.5. Okay. 13.5 looking fairly balanced as well. UK's Prime Minister Johnson to tell MES lockdown could extend beyond the 2nd of December at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. They must be talking, yes, Eastern Time, yes. So, 30 minutes. Well, the offer at 13.5 is pretty fickle. They'll clear it, and now they're willing to go to 2,000 pretty easily. But it's the same at 13, and it's fairly even. So they must. Well, I don't know. I I think there's probably more shorts out there. So Bill O'Reilly will be breaking out. So I know that probably a lot of people don't like Bill O'Reilly, but seeing his state by state breakdown is probably going to be really useful to you guys because they're going to go through like individual counties. Usually, they'll go through individual counties and show you the places where the races that really matter. Also, I want to point out there's a couple of places. There's North Carolina, and I think let's find the zero hedge story. There was a zero hedge story about it last night that was given some important information that I think you want to know. Okay, so they're polling because of the news, so let's poll. And now that tells me something. Okay, it was a strong number. Darn. New order 67. Wow. Okay. I guess not. You have filled short on NQ? You wanted to be short off of that? Well, I caught it at exactly the wrong spot. It's kind of weird that my platform was not really kind of looked lagged, didn't it? Okay. Darn. Okay. So do you still kind of wish I was short over here in the treasury, but since I got something going over here in the E-mini, I'm just going to focus on that. That's looking good. Probably took my profit on the first contract a little early, but that's okay. That ISM report, new orders 67.9 versus a previous of 60.2. The manufacturing PMI was 59.3 versus an expected 55.8. But the new orders in particular and the prices, well, new orders in particular is really high Prices was above expectation, but it's so that's interesting. Okay. So there was some profit taking up there. 33.15 area. Okay. Let's see here. Let's look at for a few things. Okay, so I'm making note that 16 is an important pivot from Friday. And then the upside target beyond that is 41. But you're still seeing a lot of volume going through above me, which is good. I think that one was a bad. So the ISM is, So I'm here non-financial juice. Let's see if I can see it here on the squawks. ISM manufacturing report, there's increased production due to stores stocking up for the second wave of COVID-19. Business is front running it this time, huh? Hmm. Okay. So that looks good. So iceberg at 12. 10-year. The ISM and the PMI are a joke. It's a pretty strong move off of the ISM. That's the strongest move off of those manufacturing reports than we've seen, well, surveys than we've seen in a long, long time, aren't they? But I think you bring up an interesting point, Gary, right? I think that a lot of beginning traders think that those are like government reports or something, and they're not. They're market surveys created by companies that sell it. Hmm. Well, it looks like that one not working out. Flips awfully quickly, doesn't it? I'm going to put you guys on read since I want to focus over here. You guys are saying good stuff.
Vlad Stolyarov says that's why I trade NQ on demo here.
NQ.
Vlad Stolyarov says BC it's so unpredictable.
Okay. Volume here is still just a little more tepid than I would like, but okay. So a good little shove there.
Gary Rich says at RJ in 2 hours roughly the picture will change. Vlad Stolyarov says it's like riding a buffalo.
Okay.
Moni H says morning Seth, what are you watching this morning?
No, we're just we're watching both of them index futures. By the way, you see that 8K just showed up in the E-mini? Sorry, in the 10-year? E-mini. What am I doing? I got one in the I'm along in the equity indexes right now. It's not quite going the way
Vlad
I want
Stolyarov
it,
says fooling around this morning.
See, that right there is a little bit too...
Vlad Stolyarov says I went short now out. Gary Rich says I name this the sympathy rally. Looks good but needs more Viagra to keep it stiff. Vlad Stolyarov says mostly shorts off highs for me. Vlad Stolyarov says
they're a little
volatility is great.
overextended. They're a little overextended for sure. I think though that manufacturing.
Vlad Stolyarov says I play the small scalps short.
So I think the thing that we're seeing here, we should keep in mind with the like new orders and everything was incredibly bullish, right? But we're finding out that that's because they're, preparing for a coronavirus wave and other volatility. So
Moni
that
H
might
says us is
actually
ready
be a
for big
drag.
move, I believe downside.
That if coronavirus doesn't end up being a thing, then that means you have too much supply and that ends up being a drag. If coronavirus does end up being a thing, then, well, coronavirus is a thing and that's bad. So the actual net effect on the index is not as it is important as my initial read of the number and the market reaction implied. They did get higher. I shouldn't have bailed on that. But it was a little bit too much. I felt like I had taken on too much risk for what was going on there. So now
Vlad
over here,
Stolyarov
I
says
still
think
kind
of
of
it
favor
as
the
15
short.
minutes range chop.
I think I still favor the short.
Vlad
in the
Stolyarov
treasury,
says
but...
until at least 3,315 holds in 1 hour.
Well, let's see here. What are they touching? 11? Maybe not. I don't know. It's a tough one. Yeah, so they're thickening up here. Is that the kids?
Brad Messerl says I think Trump will get popular vote this time.
You think so? If he gets a popular vote, that sure would be something else. Okay, so they traded through 11.5 with only 13.95 orders?
Gary Rich says this is a lull before the awesome storm of volatility shock comes in 24 hours.
Could be. Could be. I think that what we're going to do it's going to be really hard to, I don't think that our expectations... Here's the thing, like there's this whole volatility, like contested election. I don't think it's going to happen.
Vlad Stolyarov says this is fun.
Fire Fauci chant breaks out at Miami rally. Yeah, that's not the message that you necessarily want on the last day. Yeah, see, there's the move that I wanted. Now we could probably actively go short, though. Let's just wait here a little bit. Because I keep finding that when I try and take those
Vlad Stolyarov
right here,
says no
that
too
it
scared
doesn't
now.
work out, so. And I'm also a little weary about selling the treasury here.
Gary Rich says November-December VIX is way too high over $3 to Jan almost 4 to February way too much backwardation. RJ Wheels says overnight high hit on YM&S.
Oh. Missed it. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Interesting over here. So having a little bit of trouble pushing through 16.
Vlad Stolyarov says it's going too crazy for me now. Vlad Stolyarov says no flow.
Pick a few up there. No flow. Ah, better.
Vlad Stolyarov says can't read it.
Well, it is turning quite a bit more random, isn't it?
Vlad Stolyarov says 17.5 maybe line in sand pivot. Gary Rich says as these last-minute polls come in tomorrow and closing voting it's gonna feel like 2016 election.
Well, I feel like that it really is coming in the exact same way, where it's like all of the polling shows that Joe Biden is winning, but all of the momentum and a lot of little tea leaves show that Donald Trump has a much better chance than the polling suggests. So buyers are trying really hard to push it there, but they look heavy. Okay, so we're getting some news about what Prime
Armin
Minister
Sheehan
Johnson's
says
going to say
pollsters will
in
go out of
7
business
minutes.
lol.
So I don't think that we should get any market volatility off of Prime Minister Johnson. If we do, I think that we should ignore it.
Miguel Zapata says hi Seth, I see that you are using JGSaw trading, if it possible to make some app for using onto Jigsaw?
I'm not sure what you are asking, Miguel. Is it possible to
Gary
make
Rich
some
says
app
the news
for
keep
using
focusing on
onto
TX
Jigsaw?
and FL, which is not the real thing to watch for voting.
I'll tell you, the thing that I'm doing right now is I'm actually running Rhythmic Pro, and then I'm feeding my data from Rhythmic Pro to both NinjaTrader and Jigsaw. So if you can attach onto Rhythmic, then you're golden, right? Okay. So they're getting pretty decent rotation here. And also quite a bit of clicking I'm noticing. Man, why does that? I don't know what it is about this particular one. Maybe I need to go and clear the cache. Or maybe it has to do with the range bar.
Armin Sheehan says, do you get lag from Rhythmic? I had problem with it, especially in fast moving market. Now I use CQG and it is good. Vlad Stolarov
No.
says no lag. Miguel
So
Zapata says programming as ninja trading we do.
I did notice that when it got a little crazy there that my DOM did appear lagged. I don't think that that was Rhythmic. I think that I might want to adjust some of my other parameters. Yeah, I don't know. I have noticed some things with the bridge. I'll tell you, like one of the things that I find is really common is you'll be in a crazy market event and you'll see something in your data feed. And so then you go, oh, well, I don't want to use this data feed anymore. And you switch to the other one. And then you haven't been using the other data feed long enough to really see another corresponding thing. I have used both quite extensively, and I've had problems on both. I really have not found one to be considerably more reliable or quick than the other. I will say though that the data does appear to work better if you're using the Rhythmic I don't know what they're going to call it, but if you're using Rhythmic Trader Pro instead of the Ninja Trader Bridge, that does appear to be a little bit better. Because when I was using the bridge, I would get these things where you would see it move up and the level 2 would trail the orders. So I think that Ninja Trader might, and it might just be me and all of the stuff that I have running on it, but it kind of appears to me that Ninja Trader might be introducing some latency into it. Probably not the bridge, but Ninja Trader itself. Okay, so I'm looking at it, and the reason that I got short in the first place has balanced back out. So I don't really actually have a very clear directional trade here. Now I'm thinking back, I did pretty okay in the 10-year, but then we took those two bad trades off of the news. So overall we come out up. Let's see here. If I just look at my E-mini trades, what is it? 30 bucks? 60 bucks. That's good. That's really good for a Monday. Programming as Ninja Trader, we do, yeah. I like it the way that I got it. Now, the only downside to Ninja Trader is that you might not want to use the Ninja Trader brokerage. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it or anything. I've just found that most people have a brokerage that they already like, and I'm finding it's a really common thing to want to be able to use Ninja Trader on like EdgeClear or AMP or wherever it is. And, it's a lot of investment to get into Ninja Trader at the beginning. So I get that. So I see all of these orders down below us, 11 half, 11, 10 half. And that appears to me to be because they don't have a whole lot of inventory on at the moment still. So I think that the market makers are probably more than willing to take on volume right now. Now, the split side of this is that they are appearing to react a little bit strongly to what the E-mini is doing. And I'm not sure if the price in the E-mini is reasonable at the moment or not. I mean,
Vlad
I was
Stolyarov
kind
says
of
I
betting
am
on a
just gonna
reversal
keep
that
shorting
didn't
on
happen.
demo. Vlad Stolyarov says scalping 2 points S.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better. Oil is on fire. Don't think we can blame this crazy move on the elections. No, that one's 100% supply. That's almost 100% having to do with news about supply in oil. Hmm. So there's this huge iceberg. Okay. There's a huge order at 21.5. Okay, there's the E-mini pushing down a little bit again. So they're back into range. Now notice 10-year taking a good step up there, and the 5-year still shy.
Vlad Stolyarov says interesting.
Now, if we come all the way back here, I don't know. So this is going to be a short scalp for sure.
Vlad Stolyarov says lol scalper's dream.
Okay. Johnson's saying he rejects the notion that they are slower than other European countries.
Vlad Stolyarov says as long as they keep moving it, it's fine.
I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Okay. Oh, it looks like I might have. You see, it still would have been close. It still wouldn't be quite there. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Vlad Stolyarov says 11,120 VWAP. Vlad Stolyarov says NQ, look at that. Vlad Stolyarov says disaster now. Vlad Stolyarov says still in wide range chop.
We will adopt a local approach where possible in the months ahead, says Prime Minister Johnson, so other places could be shut down for even longer. Great. Wonderful.
Vlad Stolyarov says they pumped and faded normal Monday, scalper's dream.
Well, I did catch a lot of really good scalps today, didn't I? I don't know quite how I'm doing. I don't think that I've had an I mean, I had one E-mini trade that didn't work out nearly as well as it should have. And I had one that just plowed against me. But that one I got out on early. So I am 5 for 6 right now. And one of them could have been a really good winner. So like I've been reading the liquidity in the E-mini really well for whatever reason. Now this area right here is a little interesting because it looks heavy.
Vlad Stolyarov says yeah, BC volumes were great.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any strong indications that buyers want to hold it, but they do look a little overextended, and there's a good chance that they're going to come back through to the other side. So if they do and they go to 32.98, I think it's probably going to end up being a little ugly. Well, the 5-year still hasn't pushed up at 21.5, even though the 10-year has. They're up a good 5 ticks from that since all of that happened. So you gotta wonder what the deal is with that big order in the 5-year. Don't really see anything too interesting in the 30. Other than that, they're up and that they probably picked up a lot more people to stop out if they were going to push up higher. Now, on that note, should we go long here? You know what? If it wasn't in the middle, I think I probably would. If it wasn't in the middle, I think I probably would. But because it's in the middle.
Vlad Stolyarov says NQ very bad.
Yeah. So do you see these big orders? They're willing to take it here.
Vlad Stolyarov says 11,120 critical now.
So I think that the longs. So I'm just note the absorption almost every step lower here, and that there's this big order, and they went through a lot of big orders here, right? So the market makers definitely
Vlad Stolyarov says long's gonna be bailing out too late.
You know, they picked up a lot of inventory on the way up, and they're basically
Vlad Stolyarov says they still believed it would bounce and it didn't.
That's what I think is going on here. Now, when I look at the 10-year, what is the 10-year telling me? Well, the number of positions that they have on still looks a little light, and both the bid and the offer are willing to step up. Now, there's this whole issue in the 5-year. That might have something to do with the 5-year over there. But overall, the 5-year the Treasury complex in general isn't really giving me any kind of strong directional clue right now. What I do see is that they are a little overextended to the downside on the Treasuries from like a Bollinger Band kind of point of view. But the spot that we're in doesn't necessarily make sense for me to try and make a trade. So I think I will step away for a moment and take a break, and we'll come back because, we want to see how this works
Vlad
out.
Stolyarov says I smell disaster on NQ.
Big order of 14. We'll see what they do at 21.5. Probably a lot.
Vlad Stolyarov says 11,097 at least. Vlad Stolyarov says looking very bearish here. Vlad Stolyarov says bulls need to recover 11,144 if they want to keep playing it long.
That's still holding, apparently. A lot of people talking about this train in the Netherlands. Saved by a whale's tail. See, there's got to be a trillion people sitting there with market buy orders sitting there if they go through 21.5. I don't think that I would want to be in on that though. Okay, now the E-mini is turning a little bit here. So the issue I see with this in the E-mini is like we could take it long and maybe get like 10 or 20 points on it, but it could just turn back down hard again. And we could be down in the 70s very quickly. If they so choose.
Vlad Stolyarov says if market moves like it does today I would make money every day. Vlad Stolyarov says got to keep in mind we gapped up in bear market.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So we've seen this a couple of times before, right? Like they're building up a little bit more room, so they come down to 32.97, and they could bounce again. Like just as we're all of the technical traders are going to be sitting there
Vlad
going, oh
Stolyarov
yeah,
says they break
it's
the
a
low
bear
and it's
day now,
cooked.
right? Like if we're watching the chart now and we're below the open, everything is going to turn short. They turn short, they get to 97, and then the bulls could add again.
Vlad
So
Stolyarov
I don't
says
know.
technical too.
I don't know. I think that our decision earlier to say, well, because we're in the middle, we shouldn't be making any big conclusions about what it's doing was definitely the right thing to do, or wasn't it?
Vlad Stolyarov says slightly smiling face. Vlad Stolyarov says could be big consolidation range too. Vlad Stolyarov says that's why best trades were early on those wild swings.
Okay, so they still haven't touched the other line. The chances are they will. I don't know if I've ever seen an actual like major pivot bounce in the middle.
Vlad Stolyarov says original idea was holds above 3,315 on 1 hour and it's gonna be fine. Still under it.
The thing that you get here though is that like there are a couple of things that actually make buying here attractive. So I don't know if kind of the issue is why is it buy, you know? Since we don't really completely understand why we gapped up so strongly, it's kind of hard. World's biggest IPO trades 50% higher in gray market after $3 trillion in retail orders. Really? Huh. That doesn't sound That doesn't sound particularly encouraging. Patrick Rooney picking up on the Australia bans
MISS says
lobster
hi.
timber and imports at copper.
Ace Trades says at MISS is howdy. Ace Trades says oops, howdy.
Can't even really take Ace's signal here either, is it? Because it's just too tight.
MISS says today the market is well balanced.
Well, I don't feel like it started out that way, but it is starting to feel to me like it is balanced. And when we look at our trades, we never caught a trade that really should have ran. And I was coming in planning on being very much more of in a
James Rice
market
says
making
drop in
mood.
about 5 minutes.
And yeah, I think that was the right choice. I shouldn't have taken those trades in the treasury though. Those ones in the treasury that didn't work out. But that's okay. You say drop in about 5 minutes? Okay. Well, we got the bill auctions at the bottom of the hour. Don't see anything else on the schedule for the moment. I do see possibility of another
Vlad
drop.
Stolyarov says lol, we already dropped pretty good, it's rangy.
If we did go like full on short, I think that 32.85 and then even down to 32.75 area would be appropriate. By the way, the 5-year did eventually hit into the 21.5. There was 7K there. So here's the thing. We got a 6-month and a 3-month bill auction at the bottom of the hour.
Says I think bull's gonna fight lows while bear's gonna protect highs.
So seeing an order that big was thrown out there, and now they have filled him. They have not ticked through him yet. Okay, so is they going to tick at 21 in pack? Okay, they do. And they look like they're going to clear that too. So you might get this sort of a thing where a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's on, and they buy it up and then it flips on them. But that just says to me that someone's probably hedging for the auction.
Says these battles require a lot of martingale.
Right? You think I'm wondering if that's because of the auction. Because when I look at the inside bid and offer and everything, I'm not really seeing anything too terribly one-sided. And I also do not see market maker positionings skyrocketing up very much. So it looks to me like they are pretty tepid on picking up inventory, and they're dumping it at the first chances that they
Vlad
get.
Stolyarov
Everything
says I see head and shoulder on NQ.
Everything just looks fairly mundane. I now, granted, I'm kind of looking at it with slightly different eyes than I normally do. So maybe could be dead wrong about that. But the moment it doesn't look so here again, like at 15, a little bit of absorption at 15, which is something that you're commonly going to see at a new high area because, well, some people might be buying it there on expectation of a level break pull, But there's also probably going to be some guys
Vlad
looking to buy
Stolyarov
it
says
there
I
just
also
to
see
even out.
consolidation in a somewhat upward channel. If they hold 11,097 on NQ today, it will recover probably. Quanti Quant says morning Seth, how's the eye?
It's doing okay. I mean, you can't really. Here, I'll show you guys. We looked at it earlier, but you can see it's a little bit, still some red down in there, but there's not like really clear regions of red. It looks like it is clearing out. Okay, so they tick down at 15, and now you're getting some offering out at 15. So like, this is just like what I would expect to see at a high of the day, and I don't really have any reason to believe that they're gonna like break out significantly. Although they could go up to 18. It's totally possible. Bring this back over here.
Vlad Stolyarov says I know some people down 150k on AMZN.
Really? I have to say, there was a lot of
BC they bought the dip, and they new to this market.
There was a lot of stock guru types out there. I find it interesting. I mean, it's not like they're doing something wrong. I mean, in if I'm honest with myself, it's what I did. Right? I came in and I created a journal to record what I was doing and say, okay.
Vlad Stolyarov says what happens, they keep buying dip BC, it kept working before. Ace Trades says at Vlad Stolyarov, it never ceases to amaze me how people can get down 100k or more. Vlad Stolyarov says they start averaging in BC, they want the pain to end.
Anyways, well, I mean, I get it. They do it once and it works out, and then they get so much dopamine from that they just end up doing it every time. I totally get it. Because there are some traits that I've found don't really work, but every time that it happens, I'm tempted. Like, you have no idea how much I want to bid at 15 right now in the 10-year. Because if they pull 15 half and 16, it's going to be awful lot of fun, man. And their pressure's kind of there. But then I look at everything else and I'm realizing that, like, okay, you know what? Kind of the thing that I want to have happen for us to just plow through there. I'm not sure if we necessarily have those conditions. Anyways, what I did, going back to what we were talking about, what I did, I started a channel to journal things, and then people started watching it, asking me questions, and then somehow I kind of ended up becoming an expert. And I feel like it's so frustrating because like this is the thing that I find frustrating. I was watching this weekend, I read a lot of stuff, and I was reading like scholarly articles on market making, and they were talking about how you can use like these stochastic models and stuff to optimize what bid and ask you're going to take, so that when the volatility comes in, you maximize the amount of profits you're going to make. And this is not something that I've ever heard about anywhere, but it's out there. It's out there, but do you ever see retail traders talking about it? And so much of it was, I mean, like, I understood their beginning part, but then they went into the mathematical proof of their formula, and it was like I kind of only vaguely understand the kind of mathematical process that they're using, and trying to read those formulas is so hard. I bet you that if I got a math major sitting here with me, they could explain it out and we could work it out and we could build it. But when I was just reading it on my own, And this is like a significant integral part of quantitatively trading, market making, right? You never hear anybody trade about that. But then I go on the forums and I read all sorts of stuff all the time that I know was like flat out wrong. Like, I've tested it and it's flat out wrong. So it's like, I look around everywhere. I see tons of people that are absolutely clueless. But then I look at myself and I was like, well, but I don't really know that much either. There's so much that I don't know. I only know enough to know where I'm weak now, you know? And but anyways, so I was going on TikTok, and a lot of those people that were like that, they're trading. I guess they had a little bit of success, and even though they've been trading for 3 months, they're on social media as like a stock guru now. And yeah, a lot of them lost money last week, like big time, big time. And the thing that I find funny about it is that they don't sit down and say, well, maybe there's something wrong, because their strategy is basically just always buy everything all the time. So it's not until they blow out that they really have to face the music. So yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it, because until they blow their account, because of the way that their strategy works, they feel like the more it goes down, the more confident they feel that it's just going to flip right back, you know? By the time you get experience in this, you've filtered out so many bad setups that over the years, most of the time is messing around with your platform UI font while waiting for the trade. That might be true. It was another thing that I did was I re-listened to an interview that they did with Anthony Crudelli. Because people had asked me, oh, had you ever looked at Anthony Crudelli's results? And I was like, no, I'm not sure. Well, the correct answer to that is not recently, because Anthony Crudelli, he made money trading futures, right? When the E-mini was like the first created, there were days where he was like 10% of the volume. He was the largest trader by volume on the S&P 500 E-mini contracts when it first was started and was available digitally. But he's basically said, yeah, I did a really good and I was making millions of dollars and I was doing really good. And then it changed. And what happened was all of the robots came in and took over our job. And I didn't realize that part. The first time I had watched that, I didn't realize that. And so now he says, oh, I'm much more selective about what I take. So it used to be that I would trade at every price and I was market making. And now I'm really selective and I'm only looking for certain particular spots, even though he still trades with generally his same indicator and everything. He's saying that, he might not even be one a day, be like 5 a week. Isn't that interesting? So it seems to me that the traders that are that have had a lot of success in the past and at least are claiming to have been able to carry some of that success over to this market, they're all saying they're selective about their trades, like QuantiQuant was. But I wonder, QuantiQuant though, are you very much about the level 2 and the order flow and market making? Because when I was reading through the scholarly articles, I had a couple of thoughts. One of the things that I've been getting on more and more and more, and because I've been considering myself, like we want to know what's going on with the news and we want to have some fundamentals behind us before we want to take a trade. So the literature all talks about this battle between informed traders and market makers. That's really what it comes down to, from their view, at least. So that's the first big takeaway, is I think that kind of legitimizes a little bit kind of the framework that we've been trying to use, but it's saying that, hey, yeah, you're trying to be most of what retail traders are doing is trying to be an informed trader. But the other thing that I caught onto that I thought was interesting is I was like, oh, so is it the case that one of the most significant factors behind whether or not they want to put liquidity at a certain level is what their current inventory is? So if we've had a big move up, they're a lot more wary about, holding a strong offer. When I traded on my own, mainly order flow when doing my own trading with VWAP, ATR bands, and yesterday value area. Okay. Do you have back-tested setups on those? It's also interesting you use ATR bands. So I've got this version of so I got like the fat tail indicators and I've been messing with those. Yeah, but this is also when CL was trading 80 to 100. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I've got like a couple of indicators. I finally went in and bought the fat tails indicators because I was using them quite a bit. And he's got like a generalized deviation bands. I think that includes ATR bands. But he has so many different options in those, and I started going in and back testing it, and it was really interesting. I mean, like, I think that the whole exercise was just an exercise in curve fitting. I'm gonna make a video on it, but it's a little funny to watch the results of it. At work, the traders at my firm are all quants on the DOM, like chopping a bid down when there's less than X limit, and then they exit immediately. Like I'm trying to do. So I've been trying to do a trade where I have an area where I expect that there's going to be some absorption. And when it goes, I will hit into it. And usually when it goes, I don't get filled immediately. I have to sit on the limit. But then enough will come in and there'll be absorption. And then I'll get the next price and I'm out immediately. I would like to get them to run them, but I don't know. We'll see. I could do something like, if it comes down there. So let's say that I was short here. Then I could have a stop long here. Yeah, maybe I can do that. And then at that point, I'm literally trailing it by a tick with the volume stop. So that's where I'm a little concerned about the trade, is because I'm like, okay, yeah, but the one time that it doesn't work, I'm going to lose like 4 ticks. But you could, if they don't fill my stop order, which kind of happened earlier. Well, actually, it didn't happen. I only lost 1 on that one, but it was scary. It was scary. Anyways, so the reason why I ask that is am I onto something there? That what you see on the DOM, there's one of the major factors behind that is how much inventory they actually have on. And then all of a sudden, a lot of the aberrations that I see about it kind of make a little bit more sense. Like, they probably have a decent amount of shorts on now compared to the longs. So they don't necessarily want to pick them up, I don't think. And hence you're not getting these offers aren't, they're pulling. But there's enough volume going in both ways. I don't know if it's not dramatic enough to really make a huge difference so far, it seems. I bet you that probably a lot of that has to do with the currency movement in the direction of the S&P 500 stuff. Now, while I'm thinking about it, in the S&P 500, the interesting one is that you've got the E-mini not really having gone anywhere. Brandon Robbins says MES is moving between the open and the open high. Yeah, that was what I was trying to say earlier, is it was just like, okay, a lot of technical traders are going to be disappointed by that move down and touching the open. They're going to be thinking, well, maybe we should be going short, especially like those momentum guys. But now it's gone dead. Now, we're at a place where buyers might try and defend a position. But I don't see that happening. That might, it depends on if shorts decide to take it. If we really start to see, we would have to probably see another 5,000 net cumulative delta down to push to a new low. But at that point, it could turn bearish. And like I said, 85 and 75 down below look like reasonable targets. But I'm not seeing indications of informed trading in here. You know what I mean? A place where like the market maker has significant reason to want to absorb a lot at a price, and the informed traders just take them for it. I don't see that happening. But because I'm seeing it with new eyes, maybe I could be wrong. My new eyes. You see my new eyes? Apple's down 0.6%. Well, it could be worse, right? Jigsaw reminding us that Gary Norton, world-renowned market maker, has released an excerpt from his market-making manual. Get instant access to it for free today. Yes, I did that, and it doesn't really teach you anything, but I enjoyed reading it, and it made me want to buy it. I tell you that much. Made me want to buy it. I don't have $1,000 to dump on it right now, but I really want to buy it. Maybe soon. The channel has been doing so well. If we continue growing like this, we could probably start spending money on that sort of a thing. Because I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, so like, what happens if we get to the point where there's more money coming in from YouTube than I don't know what to do with? And I think the thing that would help you guys the most would be to start spending it on education. And first, to get me more educated, but then second, so that you can know how worth it these things are. Because you'd be getting it from somebody that's really skeptical about the education out there anyways, and has a pretty decent base knowledge of what most retail traders know. So I'd be able to come and has the ability to test things and stuff like that. So I could go through and say, hey, was it good or not? Do I think it's good or not? I think that would be a great thing to do with it. And Gary Norton, that's first on my list if we do that. Because there's been a lot of question about it. I'm starting to think, because of some of the revelations that I've made recently from reading these studies and everything else, or theories at least that I have. Let's call them theories, not revelations I've made, but theories that I'm working on now. I'm starting to think, you know what? There might be some information in that manual that it would be incredibly significant, and you would never realize it if you were a beginner, because you had never been down the other roads. You would only know that. AMD near its lows. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so they are pushing down a little bit here, but let's see if anybody fights for it. That's kind of the question. Is there could be a bounce here? They're still fairly slow, so that's the first thing we should note. What I would want to see if I'm reversing here is fighting, not seller-sided exhaustion, because there's more than enough for them to go down to the other side, right? Now the question is going to be, will buyers come in here and fight? So seeing this action at 32.97 or so is a perfect example of what we're talking about, where you should see fighting, and we are. Now, will they win? I don't know. They do look a little overextended. Oh, yeah. I'm going to take this one for a scalp. Like one trader told me, buy this book I linked and you don't have to waste money on any order flow book again. What was, oh, and did you do it? And did it work? Did you like it? Kulud says Gary Norton's scalping manual is meh at best. Yeah, but do you get the point that I'm making? Is that I suspect that especially if you're new, you might not realize the significance of some of the revelations that he might be giving you. It might seem like just like a really mundane stuff, but to me, who might be doing something dead wrong, or I have a belief that's dead wrong, and then he goes in and he says this thing, and you go, "Oh, wait a second." Okay, so a little bit of fight here still. Liking how that's recovering. Anyways, I mean, there's two theories here, really, to explain the way that people react to the Gary Norton manual. Either one, it goes deep into LO. Okay, so what is it? What do we mean by LOB? The limit order book goes really into the limit order book models, clustering, price impact, and market dynamics. See, these are all this shit. There you go. When you talk about clustering, you're talking about these models where you can come in and you can say, if on average we get 5,000 orders per minute, what is the chances of this many coming in at a specified time, and using that to figure out how far out you should put your limit so that you don't get overwhelmed by a flood of volume that's like quick. Is that what you're talking about, Kulud? Because that doesn't sound like MES stuff to me at all. That's like exactly the shit that I want to know that I'm having a hard time figuring out on my own. Price impact and net market dynamics, no clue what you're talking about with those. I don't know. But that's where it's just like, I don't know. To somebody that's really experienced, that might not seem like a serious thing, but to somebody, I don't know. That sounds like valuable information. Is it worth $1,000? I don't know. But it doesn't sound meh to me. That doesn't sound meh to me. Anyways, I think at some point we'll buy it. Some point we'll buy it. Probably by the time we can afford it, we won't need it anymore. But okay, well, I'm liking that long action. I'm thinking I'm gonna get filled here. Yeah, come on. There are some big orders above me. There's one right in front of me. So, well, I don't think it matters. I could probably lift that. See, probably to 3,300, right? Oh, maybe not. All right, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Oh, Kulud says, well, basically, yeah, but I am not talking. What is the name of the book? I want to read it. I think you will find something new. What was the book? 100% I'll read it. I've been reading Market Microstructure. And I tell you what, I'm only like 2 chapters in, and I just need to take some Adderall when I read it, but I'm having a really hard time reading that book, man. It's not like it's difficult or anything. It's just like I start reading it and I'm falling asleep. Any book that talks about limit order book models, 100%. Okay. 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 Wait, 100%. Check it out. How much is it? Oops. Rates. Trades, quotes, and prices. This is not on Amazon. Oh, it is on Amazon. Their search just sucks. By Jean-Philippe Bochard and Junius Bonnard. 3 people. $79.99. Okay. Think about that one. There's a couple of different things that I would like to do with this month, but I think I should be saving stuff up. So, do you think understanding market microstructure theory would give you an edge trading? I'm not 100% sure about that one, Rex. Well, I don't know. I think that it would answer a lot of questions in my mind. I'm not 100% sure if those questions would make me a more effective trader or not. I think it would probably help, but the kind of the issue on that side, and maybe why Kulut is talking the way that he is that you understand all of that stuff. Basically, all it means is you understand the way that the robots work, and you understand a trade that you really have no hope of competing for. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the thing. So it kind of goes back to this thing. It's like, so Gary Norden says, okay, the robots have taken over, but you can still trade against small traders, and there are places where you can know that you're going to be trading against small traders. I don't know how he knows that, but that sounds intriguing to me. I think the other side of the trade is the other option has been what I've been saying, which is you just have to become an informed trader. And there are some situations, although it's difficult to know where they are and when they're going to come, but there are situations that come along where a piece of news comes out that it's not entirely clear how the market's going to price it. And if you are an informed trader, you can game out how it's going to work, and you can make money on those. So the informed trading side of it, I think that people understand that really well. And I'm not sure that quantitative modeling stuff would really help you there. What would really help you there is understanding how media, news, and all that sort of thing works, right? But on the market making side, I can read all of this quant stuff. So there's stuff to at least learn that I clearly don't know. And that's what I was getting at. Like, the big reason why I was talking about it and thinking about it today was I was thinking, oh, what I see on the inside bid and offer, I've always thought of it as like, okay, well, if I want to sell, then they're going to force me to sell into the 17 3/4, try and catch the edge and then not give it to me, assuming that the pressure has been down. So that's the way it goes. And if I want to sell at 13, it's going to be because it's going to be really hard to get filled on 13. And that's why the level 2 goes the way that it does. But it's not always like that, because we get these periods where it's like, okay, there's only 500 on the offer, but this could stack to 2,000. They could trade into 13 and then come back down. And why does it do that? And then all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, oh, well, if I was a trader and I had a lot of contracts on, one of the biggest impacts on whether or not I'm going to put a bid or an offer at a spot is how much inventory I already have on. So if I already have a lot of, if I'm already very much long, let's say, then I don't necessarily want to bid a whole lot at 12.5 because I don't want to take on more inventory. I'm going to put my orders at 13 and try and take some profit and take some inventory off. And then if they come back at 12.5, then maybe I'd be willing to take some more. So the inventory that you have is a significant factor. And I think that we can read a little bit into what their positioning is, that helps our model over here. Wait, how do you even know if you have a true edge if you don't understand market dynamics at a micro scale, Rex? Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I would think that if you really had an edge, that you would, you would have profitable trading stats that would back that up, right? But that kind of becomes a difficult thing, because I can definitely show you periods of my trading where it looks like, I mean, come on, look at today. Today's great. Look at that. How many did we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 out of 7. What is that? 6 divided by 7. 85% win rate with equal risk reward. In fact, even on some allowing them to run. That is perfect for scalping. If I could trade like that every day, I'd be so happy. What does it come out? Almost $100? Dude, if I could trade like that every day, that's perfect. Unfortunately, I'll get these periods where I'm like, I'm wrong. Let's see here. I found 2 ideas. After extra reading on the subject, I now trade 1 idea. So if I get that book, will that give me ideas on other books that might be interesting to read? Or is that book just so much like the it on this subject that that's all I need? I don't know. I'm just looking at that book and I'm like, this is like a heavy textbook on market making. This is what I want. I'm going to read a little bit more on it. Because, did I close the... Yeah, I did. Did I add it to my list? Customers who bought this also bought The Man Who Solved the Market, How Jim Simmons Launched the Quant Revolution. Advances in Financial Machine. I really need to get into the machine learning thing. You know what I mean? I'm told that if you import libraries into NinjaTrader that it starts to get messy, and I've never done that, but I think that's something I need to get going on. Oh, it has a lot of further reading suggestions, by the way, if you really want to go to. Okay, cool. And how advanced is it? Is this a book that I could give to somebody that knows literally nothing, that isn't a computer or math person, doesn't know a whole lot about markets, and they would be able to understand it? Or is this something where even if you are like a quant at a Wall Street bank, that you're going to have to study hard to understand what it's talking about? Because it kind of, when I look at it, first edition hardcover, $80, I'll look at that and I'm like, oh, that looks heavy. That looks heavy. Why is the second link Cambridge.org? Cambridge. You can buy it from Cambridge University Press. The widespread availability of high-quality, high-frequency data has revolutionized the study of financial markets by describing not only asset prices, but also market participants' actions and interactions. This wealth of information offers a new window into the inner workings of the financial ecosystem. In this original text, authors describe empirical facts of financial markets and introduce a wide range of models, from the micro-scale mechanics of individual order arrivals. There you go. So that's talking about what is it that we call it? Clustering. That's clustering. Macro scale issues of market stability. Throughout this journey, data is king. All discussions are firmly rooted in the empirical behavior of real stocks, and all models are calibrated and evaluated using recent data from the NASDAQ. By confronting theory with empirical facts, this book for practitioners, researchers, and advanced students provides a fresh, new, and often surprising perspective on topics as diverse as optimal trading, price impact, the fragile nature of liquidity, and even the reasons why people trade at all. Tom Lexi, locked in range analysis. Why most traders must lose money in the futures market. Gary Norton scalping, it's $1,000, right? Oh, Tom Lesky's thing is a free PDF. I'll find that. I'm gonna search it here. If I don't find it right away, then you should come and you should send it to me on Discord. Oh, well, that's a book on Amazon. Oh, but it is free. It's a free book on Amazon. The Kindle. I like it. Or I can view it on Scribd. I would prefer it as a PDF. Ugh, I hate when you want to download stuff off of Scribd, but you can't. Kobo.com. LRAEN.pdf. Oh. You're brilliant, Juan. That took me right to it. That took me right to it. Save. Well, so Gary Norton is like, yeah. So here's the thing. Like sometimes there's a question, like a guru comes up and you're like, well, are they like legit? Are they actually making money? And then there are people that have had so much success in the past that their credentials are really unquestionable. I would say that Anthony Crudelli is one such person. Even if this year he didn't make money, you're talking about a guy that at one point was the largest trader in the S&P 500. Like there's a reason that the exchange does stuff together with this guy, right? It's because he was crazy successful, right? You want to talk to a trader that's had some success. Anthony Crudelli, no question about it. It's criminal that I have almost as many subscribers as he does. It really is, because he is an amazing trader, right? And Gary Norton is one of those as well. He made markets. He was managed many big books for many large institutions multiple times. So to say like he knows the market making and he's made money market making, no question about it. Does that mean that his book is going to make you profitable if you buy his $1,000 course? No. But it doesn't sound to me like he made it because he thought that everybody's going to make money from doing that. I think that he made it because he was like, here's an art that's dying. The robots took it over from us. And I think that there needs to be humans that know how to do this. So I'm going to teach humans how to do it, even if it's not profitable right now. That was my take on it. Although it does sound like he believes you can make money from doing it. So I don't know. I have to say, I made money and I hit the, doing 16 for 16. And I got an 80% win rate there today. And that one maybe shouldn't have even happened. So I'm feeling really good about the way that I traded today. But, today's a weird day. So it's days like that that make you go, okay, yeah, maybe actually some of these things are possible. And maybe I am picking up on, maybe it was how I picked up on liquidity and how I determined that we were overextended in an area that really allowed me to do what I just did. Plus, Crudelli recovered from heart. Oh yeah, that was fairly recently, wasn't it? I would love to talk to that. I'm sure that he's heard my name before, but I hope that there's a Trader Expo next year that they don't shut everything down and we can meet all these people. Because, of course, I would like to pick their brains, but more than anything, I would just like to be, to sit and yap like friends, because it's the trading community. We've kind of had our our world stolen from us. We need to build those connections again. You know what I mean? So I want to talk to all those people, and all of you guys too. We're gonna we'll have like a Chicago meetup or something. So I would love to meet you guys. Okay. I think I got to get going. I got like 5 minutes before I'm supposed to be on. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, tomorrow's stream will probably be shortened because I'm going to go first thing to go and get to vote. So it might only be like an hour. And then I still have to work tomorrow, unfortunately. I wish I could take it off. But we'll stream in the evening. So it should be fun. I'll try and do it around... Well, you'll see the notification because I'll put the thing up before it actually time starts when I can go. Rex says you act as if it is impossible to make money against robots. No, but I mean, it's really fucking hard. I've had a really hard time making money against robots. I must admit, I have periods of, but I certainly don't perform the way that I want to. Anyways, I gotta go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable.